with that, I think we'll get into the nerdy news to know with our first news story.
So let's talk about it.
So apparently, there's going to be a Switch Pro, which, surprise, surprise, console revisions are not a new thing from Nintendo.
But we've been hearing these leaks and rumors of a Switch Pro since basically the Switch was released.
Right.
Like,
we thought the Lite was going to be a Pro.
Right.
But there's some levity because, is it Amazon Mexico?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about what happened?
There was a listing on Amazon from Mexico of a Switch Pro. Mm-hmm. It was quickly taken down, and all it had was the listing, no images or anything.
Did they call it a Pro? Do you remember?
They called it Switch Pro.
I hope they don't.
And the seller was listed as Amazon or as Nintendo.
And usually, if it's like up and then down, it's usually like, oh no, what have we done?
Yeah.
It's usually, I think it's Amazon Sweden that usually leaks all that stuff. But
so,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Switch Pro, I mean, we've been wanting one for a while. I've been wanting one for a while. Just because there's so many things about the Switch that are great, but there's so many things that are just so far behind the PlayStation and the Xbox. Mm-hmm. And let's not even talk about comparing it to PC.
Yeah, that's not fair comparison.
It's not, but I'm just saying the quality of experience that you can get as a gamer on everything else. And I know Switch, the whole thing was like, it's portable. Yeah. It's console quality games in your palm. But now it's not console quality games in your hands. It's mobile games.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at it from it needs to be on par with the other home consoles, it's super not that.
No, I will never look for a Nintendo console to be on par, but just in the same league at least somewhere. But now they're not. It's not in the same league. It's a generation behind.
I will say, the Switch does lack a few features that
quite a lot, actually.
I would like to see. And I think there's some that you want to see too. Mm-hmm. What's your number one, you think?
So first, I think let's go into the rumor.
Mm-hmm. What does it say that it has?
So the rumors, let me get this pulled up here, of what the Switch Pro is going to have. So number one is a larger screen.
Larger
screen, 7-inch screen.
Okay.
Which they're also saying that it may be an OLED screen. Which you know anything about screen technology? There's LCD, which is liquid crystal display. Mm-hmm. It's fine, but you typically don't get very bright.
Right.
You typically don't get very good contrast, and the colors aren't as natural.
LCD is typically like if you go to Walmart and there's like a $500 4K TV, that's probably what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
If you're spending like $2,000,
right, or a cheap smartphone, like you have an iPhone 7, or iPhone XR, or like a Samsung Galaxy S. I think 5 or 6 is when they stopped doing LCD. Like it's gonna be your cheaper display. It's gonna be it just works. It's fine.
Yeah.
But they're thinking about switching to OLED, which stands for organic LED, which you're gonna get deeper black levels on this. So the blacks are gonna be less of like a gray, actually black. It's gonna be brighter, and the colors are gonna be more punchy. So it's gonna look more vibrant rather than just kind of washed out.
That's good.
So they're seeing that.
I wonder if it's going to have HDR if they're going that route.
I don't think it'll have HDR.
That'd be cool, though.
It'll probably have a better dynamic range, but like HDR, like what Apple and Samsung are saying, that term.
Black is black.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it'll have HDR.
I don't know. Having used HDR stuff for the past couple of years, most of the time, I mean, when we watched the last season of Game of Thrones, you remember that final battle?
Yeah. Well, see, I don't think Game of Thrones was produced in HDR. So you have to have not only an HDR capable screen, but the content has to actually be produced in HDR.
Okay.
So I don't think that there's going to be very many video games being produced in HDR. I don't even know what that would look like. But really especially not Nintendo developers, right? Yeah.
What else does it say that it's supposed to have?
So being able to output 4K at 60 frames per second.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Right. That would be great. 4K is probably the most believable because 4K is like the hotness when it comes to like gaming.
Right.
Like gamers need 4K. So I think that's going to be the most likely other than the screen.
So, okay. Right now, the Switch, the tablet mode is 720p. And the output when you plug it into the TV is 1080.
Right.
Does that mean they're going to upgrade the actual tablet part to 1080?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that as a rumor, but I would hope so for sure.
That would be really nice. Mm-hmm. I mean, with smaller screens, you don't necessarily need all that crazy resolution. Mm-hmm. But it would be nice to just have a crispier image.
We have 1080p on our phones
that
are 7 inches.
Most phones now are just 4K.
I don't think most phones are 4K.
Oh, well, they take photos and all of that other
They
stuff.
can take photos in 4K.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks really, really, really good.
Yeah. I mean,
with the smaller display.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least Retina levels where you can't pixel peep.
One thing, I don't know if they've confirmed it, but I find myself wanting this all the time is Bluetooth support.
Yeah.
On the Switch.
So, yeah. So let's run through what's rumored changes, and we'll get to what we want to talk about. So other than that, I mean, just Ethernet port on the dock.
That's rumored?
That's rumored.
Huh.
Gotta
go
have
Smash fans.
Yeah, Smash fans, or really anybody that just wants to take a load off their Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Fixed Joy-Con drift, and an extra USB 3.0 jack on the dock.
Oh, an extra one. Yeah, that's the big problem, because whenever I use the GameCube controller plug-in, it takes up 2 USB slots. So it's like I kind of have to choose what to do, and it's really brutal.
Right. It'd be helpful to have an extra one.
Yeah.
So what do we want? You mentioned Bluetooth, right?
Bluetooth.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. And just being, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't really, aside from these, I don't really have any other wired headphones.
Right.
Everything's, like yours, wireless earbuds.
Right.
It'd be nice, especially on the go. You don't want to have that wire hanging there.
Right.
Just pop your earbuds in and
Get
go.
your AirPods, your Galaxy Buds, your Pixel Buds.
Raycon.
Your Raycon. Raycon earbuds. They're cheap. They're affordable. Raycon. Yeah. I will never buy Raycons ever in my life. The amount of times I've heard a Raycon advertisement just shoved into a YouTube video, I will never, ever in my life. If my AirPods are burnt in a fire and I go to Walmart and the only thing they have available is Raycons, I will walk out.
Yeah.
I will walk out of that store.
Hold the phone to your face.
I will do it old school. I will plug in. Unless you want to sponsor a video, then I'll buy some Raycons.
We'll shell a little bit, but just know.
Just know I will never. If I ever do a sponsored spot for Raycon,
don't believe us.
Don't believe me. Buy them. Use my affiliate link. But I will never put them in my ears.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about all of this is like considering taking sponsors. All of the sponsors that have hit us up are like, "Hey, do you want to sell like funeral ad services and stuff like that
for $5?"
Yeah, it's like, dude, this I can't speak for your product because I'm not dead. I can't really be like, yeah. But it's just if we were to ever do any ad spots, I'd want to believe in it.
Yeah.
And Raycon and I mean, maybe like NordVPN seems like the only useful one of those popular ones. Raid Shadow Legend.
No, I will never. I will never. That's another thing. I will never play Raid Shadow Legends.
Like they have actively made me not want to try that game just because of how over the top they are with their advertising.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Switch Pro. What else you got that's confirmed?
That was all that's confirmed. Some things that I would like. Let's go through that. What do we want to see on the Nintendo Switch Pro? At the top of my list, it was Bluetooth.
I mean, that's the biggest one. Better screen, Bluetooth.
Right. So second on my list is I want the D-pad to be like the Switch Lite. I want an actual D-pad on the Nintendo Switch.
So we're assuming that the Joy-Cons are going to stay the same, right? Like
they can stay the same, but just change the D-pad. You don't have to change the rail system to attach it.
So they have those Hori ones, like the third-party D-pad. I don't know if you've looked into those, but the problem with those is there's no HD rumble, and they don't work in wireless mode. If it's not attached, it will not function. So it'd be cool if we got like some, Pro Joy-Cons with an actual D-pad on it. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That you could even make cross-compatible with the old Switch.
Right. All you'd have to do is have the rail system the same. And,
Software
give us
update.
a D-pad.
Because that'd be cool.
The whole reason they did the whole it's not a D-pad thing is they thought people were going to be like
Karen on the rooftop.
Gaming on a rooftop party. That millennial rooftop party that everybody has all the time.
To be fair, when it first came out, I've played it like that.
For 3 times?
I mean, anytime I go see my family, we'll play Mario Kart or Mario Party.
Yeah.
It's like really good for that because
it's just a sacrifice I'd be willing to make.
Yeah, I'd like to have a pair. I mean, that's why when I play my Switch, if I'm docked, Pro Controller all day. I don't mess with the Joy-Cons. The only time the Joy-Cons are useful is when I'm on the go, and I have a Switch Lite for on the go.
Okay,
and it's got a real D-pad on it.
Let's talk about that. You have a Switch and a Switch Lite.
I do.
How is that when you're talking about trying to play games like cross-save?
Yeah.
Like if you pick up a game on your Switch and you want to go on vacation and you want to bring your Switch Lite.
So it's not quite as pick up and play as I would like. Typically what I do is whenever I'm buying a game, I'll decide where to play it. Because so like indie titles and like smaller games, they're better on the light.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really need it to be blown up on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like a full third or first party AAA game, you know, or just something that's supposed to look really pretty, I'll play it on the regular Switch.
So
but if you were to want to do that, I mean, it takes a couple steps because you have to go download the game on both systems, start it on one, and then because of the Switch's like PlayStation Plus program, the $20 a year Nintendo Online, your saves get uploaded to the cloud. So all you would have to do is get in the settings on your Switch Lite and just import your save.
Yeah,
but
that's all you have to do.
The biggest problem is they do the this weird like primary secondary switch thing where the secondary switch, if you're playing a game that you've downloaded, like not a game card, but like a digital,
like a digital
copy,
title,
you have to authenticate online to play it, which is problematic. That's why typically like the Lite is the primary because that's the one I'm going to be on the go. I don't want to have to authenticate it. Whereas the other one's always going to be at home, always going to be connected.
Right.
So that's the fix, but it's still less than, I mean, we know how Nintendo is.
Yeah.
They don't really, they're the Nintendo bubble, as people say. I mean,
they're like the Apple of the gaming world.
Yeah, they kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's one of the next things I really want. I know it's software and it isn't really tied to the Switch Pro, but let us play. Like, for those who have multiple Switches, there needs to be a more convenient way of either having like cloud saves or having multiple devices authenticated at the same time, multiple primary devices to where, I mean, you can. Like, for example, I do a lot of mobile gaming.
Right.
And I do want to talk about this in another episode, but I have an iPad.
Yeah.
I have an iPhone. And I have a Mac. If I'm down playing, like, Final Fantasy VII on my iPad, I save it, I go out, I pick up my iPhone, open up, and I'm right back where I was.
Right.
Or if Chrono Trigger, any other game that I'm playing, it's just immediately. And I don't have to go through all this mess of, like...
Honestly, it's kind of surprising that system is even there for Nintendo. Because I think, you know, the folks with multiple Switch systems are kind of the outlier. Most people either have one or the other. One cool thing they do is with their online program, they do offer a family plan. So instead of everybody having to pay $20 a year, I think it's like $45 you get up to 4 Switches all year.
Now, do you get like the same access to the same save states?
If you use the same profile, yeah. The only problem with that is, so you kind of have to be a little cheeky where you authenticate, get offline, and then the next person,
That's such a hassle.
Well, you just can't play the same game at the same time.
Right.
But you can
all have... fine.
Yeah. I mean, like on that one, me and my partner both have our profiles on it, and they're separate. But I can play her games and she can play mine so long as we can connect to the internet.
Right.
So it's pretty cool like that.
And that would be fine. But having this whole primary, secondary, and going through this big rigmarole just to be able to pick up and play your games. And what I would like, I guess to sum it all up, what I would like is for you not have to worry about when you're buying a game, what device you're playing it on.
Yeah, that would be nice if I could just pick it up and go.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Nintendo, make it happen, please.
Please, Captain Nintendo, Sir Nintendo. Yeah. Make it so.
So, anything else that you want to see on the new Nintendo Switch, or the Switch Pro, or the Super Nintendo Switch, or this Nintendo Switch 2?
One, I want a different name.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo Switch Pro is horrible, and...
What do you think about new Nintendo Switch?
I would be okay with that just because it's an established brand.
Or Super Nintendo Switch.
That'd be cool, too.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, Nintendo Switch Plus would be kind of cool, too. I don't know, just Pro, the idea that, like, a console is a professional version, it's kind of... cringe.
Or Switch Ultra Pro Max Plus.
Huh?
Switch Ultra Pro Max Plus Pro.
With Cranky Kong. And Knuckles.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I think my favorite would be new Nintendo Switch.
That's worked.
Followed by Super Nintendo Switch.
You don't want the new Nintendo Switch XL?
No. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't like new or Super Nintendo Switch. Because when you went from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, there was like different games and they weren't compatible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I've had that problem.
Yeah. So I think the new Nintendo Switch would be the best.
Yeah, it will. Something, and that's what I'm seeing. Like when they did it on the 3DS with the new stuff, all of the boxes had that new logo with like the 3 colored, You know, it was very clear that
the little starburst kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like confetti pops.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing they put on the Amiibo packaging. It made sense.
Yeah.
That would be cool. New Nintendo Switch. Again, Nintendo is always terrible. I mean, that's what happened with the Wii U. You know, they had the Wii. They took over the world with the Wii. And they came out with the Wii U, and it muddied everything. Because people thought that the Wii U was just the controller.
Yeah.
So they're like... I mean, I don't know. If anybody who's not big into gaming news, the Nintendo Wii U was a total failure.
Yeah. They needed the Nintendo Switch to be a hit, or people were just going to stop caring about Nintendo.
They were probably going to become a third-party publisher, was the rumor. And here's a fun fact for you. Since we're approaching Nintendo possibly putting out a new console, we are, from the time the Wii U came out to the time the Switch came out, we are in that exact time frame. So right now, if the Wii U had come out in 2017, the Switch would have come out now.
Yeah.
So it's about that time.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for an upgrade. We're on 4-year-old hardware at this point.
My biggest concern is, like we were talking about earlier with the PS5s, how are you going to get this thing? I had trouble buying a single Amiibo.
Yeah, you're not going to get this thing. It comes out, if it comes out in September 2021, you're not getting this thing until summer of 2022 at least.
The other interesting thing about the rumor is, again, E3 is in 2 weeks. The rumor said that they're already in production.
Yeah.
And
that's why all the rumors are coming out right now.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a leak in the boat, which Nintendo happens a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if you... Supply chain, right? You can't shut up every employee. You can't, you know, if you're Nintendo or Apple, that's why you never see software leaks.
Yeah, because it's all just the devs.
It's all in-house.
Yeah.
But you always see hardware leaks because, you know, Nintendo can't threaten your life. I'm convinced
those little Wii, remember the Wii car commercial with the two guys knocking on the door? We would like to kill you.
Yeah. Man. And you know what? I was thinking about that the other day. I wish they would bring that back.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But, you know, obviously they can't say we.
Yeah.
But something, just the two guys, like an homage, because those
are cool. I like that little, what was it, a little smart car?
Yeah, a little smart car. And they presented the controller.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
Two Japanese businessmen, but yeah. So rounding out a couple of things I'd like to see on the new Nintendo Switch. A little bit thinner of a form factor. Not too much, just a little bit thin. It's a little round.
Yeah. The only thing I'm concerned about that is I'd like it to be compatible with our current docks. Because those things were expensive.
It's going to come with a dock.
Well, yeah, but I already have like 2 of them.
I don't think that's as big of an issue, but I can see where it's coming from. Just a little bit more ergonomic. It feels, or maybe even a little bit thinner on the middle, but a little bit thicker on the Joy-Cons. It just, I don't know, something better to hold.
Okay, so you mentioned that the screen size is bigger. Is the screen bigger or the whole thing? Because like on the Switch now, there's that big bevel.
Yeah, it's got thick bezels.
Yeah,
like inch thick bezels almost. Probably, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's got some thickums.
You turn that screen on, it's like, oh, we're not using this.
Thanos snap those bezels.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. That's all we need.
I mean, the size is fine.
Yeah,
but yeah, more screen real estate.
Yeah, just like they did with all the phones. Yep. They all had the foreheads and the chins, and they're just like
rounding them on the corners and doing all this other crazy.
Yeah, well, maybe not all that. We don't need the infinity display on the.
Was it Apple that had the hole punch?
No, Apple never had the hole punch. They had the notch. It's Samsung and all the other ones that had the hole punch.
Idiots.
Yeah, we'll get into that another day.
Yeah,
complain about Apple stuff. I'll go on an Apple rant one of these days.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't yet.
So yeah, then for wireless charging, it's a bit of an odd one because I know the dock is a thing.
Yeah,
but if you're on the go, you might not be bringing your dock with you.
Yeah,
and just I don't expect that to happen.
No,
but it's just one of those things where it'd be kind of a nice to have, just because I'm so used to everything having wireless charging.
Yeah,
and if I'm on the go and I'm bringing my Switch, just to be able to chuck it on a charger and be fine with it.
Yeah,
louder speakers.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Want
they're
louder
kind of
speakers.
weak,
They're
especially on the Lite. I don't know if you've played the Lite.
I have. Yeah, I own the Lite. I sold it to your buddy.
Oh,
Tim.
That's right. Shout out to you, Timmy.
Shout out Tim. I hope you're enjoying that Switch Lite, by the way. No refunds if you're not. So,
but yeah,
4 months.
So one thing I've heard, rumor wise, is that the plan going forward is to phase out the regular Switch and just go with the Pro and the Lite.
Okay.
And to price drop the Lite to like $150.
Oh, that would be tight.
I mean, just to get it in more hands.
Close to 2DS levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder, when the Switch came out, it was $299. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be a $399, $499 console?
It's going to be $349, $399. Ooh. I would probably $349, Wouldn't be surprised at $399.
Yeah. I would like $349. I mean, because it is an upgrade. But yeah, I'm excited. I'd love to see. I just hope they do the work on some of the pre-existing Switch titles with the 4K support. Like, could you imagine?
Well, that's developers. I mean, you're talking about first party?
Yeah. Could you imagine Breath of the Wild without all that hitchy frame rate stuff?
Yeah.
Just running like butter. No more like explosions and slowdown. And that was the one problem I had with that game. Is just when it got some serious diarrhea Christmas lights going on.
They need a better processor in it.
Yeah.
They need to hit up Apple for that M1 chip. But yeah, I agree. I mean, better processor. I mean, the graphics are fine. I don't think the Switch needs excellent graphics, like ray tracing.
Most of the time for Nintendo, it's all about the art style.
Yeah, art style. Yeah, exactly. I think Breath of the Wild is probably the best looking game. They tried Witcher 3, and that game looks trash.
I don't know. Mario Odyssey is gorgeous, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the style they went with for that game, everything is so round. You'll never see a jaggy ever.
I guess I was thinking like a little bit more realistic style. But yeah, you're right. Breath of the Wild is great. Or Mario Odyssey, which 2 games that came out, the same year that the Switch did?
Yeah, it was from March to November. Yeah. And Mario Kart 8. I was playing Mario Kart 8 the other day, and that is pretty.
But yeah, louder speakers, better chip, now that we're talking about it. Better kickstand. The kickstand is flimsy, and it feels like I'm going to break it every time I open it.
I mean, it comes right off, and mine falls off often. Yeah. My Switches from launch, that thing has worn out.
Oh, so you don't even have the upgraded battery, huh?
No.
Oof.
No. Yeah. I mean, that's why that one stays home. Yeah. That one's on the go.
I see.
Because the Switch Lite, without all the HD rumble and all that other stuff, you lose the features, but that battery life lasts forever.
Yeah. Barely ever charge it. And then finally, give us more integrated storage. What does it come with? 32 gigabytes?
I think so.
That's not enough. That's not enough at all for a gaming device.
Yeah.
I mean, your phone comes with a 64 minimum.
Yeah.
Give us 64 minimum.
Especially if they're going to be doing like 4K assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need the storage.
Yeah, we're going to need 64 gigabytes, the minimum. 128s would be like... So here's something. What if they do $349, 64 gigabytes, $399, 128 gigabytes?
That'd be dope. Now, is this onboard storage, or you think they'll just...
gigabytes.
It's Nintendo. They might just be like, and it comes with a memory card.
No, don't worry, it's got the Mario expandable storage. I mean, I want 64 gigabytes the minimum, and I want to be able to throw my SD card in there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. E3 is 2 weeks away. I'm very excited because last year there was no E3 because of everything going on.
Yep.
It'll be nice to be back in the saddle and see what these people have been working on for the past year.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the whole year has been kind of crack-a-lacking, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing. What's come out other than, like, some jank?
For, like, Nintendo or just
in general?
I mean, Returnal's pretty cool.
That's got a lot of problems, too.
Yeah, but a lot of people are talking about it. I'm just trying to think of the big titles.
I mean, Resident Evil.
Cyberpunk.
Oof.
I mean, I enjoyed that game. I think it got a lot more.
I am waiting for the PS5 patch when they fix everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then I will play it.
Well, I'm on PC, so
yeah,
they fixed a lot of stuff. It's not perfect, but it's a fun game, and I'm having fun with it.
I was loving that game, and then I lost about 3 hours of progress.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to save frequently. And by the way, why are you playing an RPG and going 3 hours in between saves?
It was supposed to autosave.
Bad.
The days of hitting the save block or Pokemon saving, we're past that now.
No, we're not.
I put too much faith in my system and it failed me.
No, you don't be playing an RPG and going 3 hours in between saves.
Yeah. You're right.
How long till I blow up and everybody show love? How long until I'm laughing at my critics like told ya? How long till I grow up? Stop drinking till I throw up? How long until the devil come to collect on what I sold him? What actually happens when you drown genius in acid? What would my baby mama say if I make $1 million off this rapping? What would the friends I made in the Navy say if they heard CS2 snapping? What would the man inside the mirror say if he ever caught me?